We're back. I like that one.
During the time of the pharaohs, the city of Karnak was a shining example of civilization that all other nations could only hope to emulate. Today, Karnak lives on, surrounded by the spirits of the past. However, something has gone terribly wrong. Unknown forces have seized the city, and great turmoil is spreading into neighboring lands. World leaders from all parts of the globe have sent forces into the Karnak Valley, but none have returned. The great power of this new empire is quickly crushing the best forces the human world has to offer. The only known information about this crisis came from a Karnak villager found wandering through the desert miles from his home, dazed, dehydrated, and close to death. In his final moments among the living, the villager told horrifying stories of fierce alien creatures that invaded the city, devoured the women and children, and made slaves of the men. Many of the unfortunate victims were skinned alive or brutally dismembered. Others were subjected to unbearable tortures, injected with strange substances, and then mummified while still alive. According to the villager, even the mummified body of the great King Ramses was unearthed and taken away. You have been chosen from a group of the best operatives in the world to infiltrate Karnak and destroy the threatening forces. But as your helicopter nears the Karnak Valley, it is shot down. You barely escape with your life. With no possible contact to the outside world, you begin your adventure, ready to accomplish your mission, praying to return alive.
Powerslave. Exhumed. So this game was released in... what was it, like 96 maybe? I have the original release of this on PlayStation. Released as Exhumed in Europe. It's basically a first-person shooter Metroidvania, and it's really kind of fascinating. Developed by Lobotomy Software, using their custom Slave Driver engine for Sega Saturn and PlayStation. It got a PC release on the Build engine, but that was a completely different game, which is kind of fascinating. This modern release, remastered by Night Dive, is based on both the Sega Saturn and PlayStation version, taking elements from both. Though, I'll be honest with you, I could not tell you what the differences between the PlayStation and Saturn versions were. But it takes elements from both, and is available on all modern systems, and as you would expect of Night Dive, is a really good remaster. Let's play it. The Tomb of Ramses. As you would expect. Looks nice. Widescreen. Jump is on L2. Did I configure that? Probably did. A gun. So the icons we have underneath the blue bar are the weapons. The one on the left is the machete, then the pistol, and then we'll get more as we go. Your ammo is the blue meter. You don't have numbers, you just have blue meter. And they are separate for each weapon, though they look the same. So ammo preservation is a little odd in this game. There we are. So, because this was originally built for a controller, I don't believe it originally had like vertical look. And it was a 2.5D shooter anyway, so if it did, it probably, like, looking up and down was probably really weird.
Welcome, mortal. I am King Ramses. When my body was laid to rest here, my name was not forgotten, and my spirit was blessed in the realm of the dead. For centuries I lived in splendid afterlife, among the most powerful gods of the world. Now, my eternal sleep has been broken by a savage race of creatures known as the Kilmaat. These beasts have stolen my mummified corpse and are draining the power from it to use as their own. If they succeed, chaos will spread across the earth like a terrible wave of fire, burning all living things in its path. The world as we know it will die a painful death. It is you, Great One, that must do justice for the sake of mankind and shun this evil. Seek out the 6 treasured artifacts that once adorned my tomb, given to me by the most powerful gods of Egypt. They too have been stolen and scattered across the valley, and are highly guarded. These artifacts hold great powers and will help you on your journey. To begin your search, travel to Karnak and cross the high bridge on the east side of the village. Here you will find a great sanctuary that holds the first of the 6 mighty artifacts. If you happen to lose your way on your travels, return to this tomb, and I will give you guidance. Fear not the power of the Kilmaat. Instead, embrace the powers of the Egyptian gods. They will help.
Hey, Gleb. So it is actually, like, I gave Half-Life shit for not having subtitles in a modern remaster. I should give this shit as well. Though less shit than Half-Life. Because this has less dialogue, and the dialogue isn't as big a thing. Although, the fact that it's like, hey, come back here if you get stuck and I'll direct you. Like, cool, I can't hear you because I'm deaf. Unfairly maligned against in that regard. Also, how much power can you possibly be draining from a corpse? Camel. To Karnak. We've arrived at Karnak. Hope your work day goes well, Clem. There we go. Gun ammo. Come on. All right. So we'll end up visiting this area quite a bit. As you may have noticed on the map, there are 4 directions we can exit this from. And the direction we'll go will depend on what abilities we have at the time. I don't think we're ever locked off from exiting an exit we already used. Well, I don't think we can go this way yet. Yeah, we need to be able to jump higher to get up there. So that's something to come back to. Very Metroidvania. I got a map. Unk. The checkpoint. One thing I do wish this game would do is, when enemies die, they'll sometimes drop health or ammo. I wish they would drop it faster. Because it's definitely going to be a thing of, like, we'll go through this game. We'll go through this game and kill enemies, and I'll have moved past them. And then we'll hear the... And I'll turn around and there'll be, like, health or ammo. The symbol of war. Did I see a door with that symbol? What was that door over here? Power. Right. Nope. Camel ahead. It's like, you can see pretty much immediately, like, there's a bunch of stuff here that we've not been able to get to yet. So we'll obviously come back. Birds. Not today, birds. They take a while to hit the ground. Hello. Very nice. So one thing, probably the most difficult thing to get used to about this game, is you are a chunky boy. Like, we look at how big this corridor is, and you think it could hold 2 people. Like, look at the squares, you'd assume that you are, like, the size of a square. You are not the size of a square. Like, if one of those Anubis guys threw a fireball at me in this corridor, I would not be able to dodge it. So it's a little weird. Once you get used to it, it's not so bad. But, like, you are wider than you think you are. Not that. There we go. Time. Not that one. Checkpoint. I don't think I could make that from there. I was wrong. Okay, but that was the symbol of power, right? Alright, so I know where we saw that door. I think this whole concept is actually really cool. Like, especially in a 2.5D Metroidvania, like I did, like a 2.5D shooter, because one of the best things about a shooter like this is the speed. You're very quick, which is great. Like, I love Symphony of the Night, and I've played Symphony of the Night multiple times on stream. Let me tell you, the most frustrating thing about Symphony of the Night is your movement speed when you're going through everywhere again. So being able to move this quick is, like, really nice. Go. Plus, there's definitely a really cool thing about these odd uses of game design and tech at the time. It's the kind of thing that has me fascinated about the whole creation of something like Strife. Which, like, I'd like to get to Strife at some point. Built on the Doom engine back in, I believe, 95, 96 maybe. And it's like a full open world adventure game kind of thing. And it's really impressive. kind of thing that isn't really appreciated as much these days because, you know, technology moved on. But doing more with the technology they had than you would expect was always super interesting. And like, you think of something like Half-Life, which gets a lot of praise for what it did, that was super unusual and impressive at its time. And there's a lot of other stuff that just kind of flies under the radar. The Sandals of Exhumed increases jumping ability.
You have found one of the 6 sacred artifacts, and your worth as a sturdy slave has been proven to the Council of the Gods. The mighty sandals of Exhumed give you the strength to leap higher than mortal humans. Use this gift to scale the cliffs in the northwest corner of Karnak. Beyond the cliffs is a steep path that leads to a shrine in the mountains. The artifact hidden in this shrine is a gift from Sobek, god of amphibious creatures.
Cool. Alright, so let's go back and do something new. Something that you could consider a minor frustration is the way enemies respawn. Whenever you leave and re-enter a level, I consider it kind of par for the course, because it's the way these things just generally work in a Metroidvania anyway. You would leave a room for whatever reason, like even if you've been knocked out of the room, and then you'd go back in and everything would have respawned. And if enemies didn't respawn in this, the game would become very lifeless very quickly. I think it was this way. Yes, there we go. Unlike a Metroidvania, though, and more like Metroid. Probably more so because of the limited ammo. Like, in Metroidvanias, it's worth killing everything as you go past again and again, because it's experience. Getting lost isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you're going to get experience and you're going to level up. And that's a positive. This is more like actual Metroid. Where that's not happening. So all you're really doing by fighting every enemy you come across is using resources. And those can be refilled, but it's not always the best use of your time. So that beeping means that there is a transmitter piece in this level, which we can assemble, and we will want to assemble as we progress. Whether I can find it now will be the question. What was purple? Weapon boost. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. Love it. Oh, hey, it's Teak. It's fine, Teak. Everybody who lives here is dead. They don't mind. They were killed by aliens. It's even worse business practice. Listen, breaking all their pottery is the price of saving the world from aliens. The weapon change could be faster. Weapon power. Health? No. I do not have the ability to prevent fall damage right now, so I need to take this carefully. Alright. There we go, a transmitter piece. I appreciate, like, I think it's a really good design choice. One that you wouldn't expect of a game of this time period. I appreciate that the transmitter pieces are immediately recognizable. Like, you'll know when there's one in a specific level, and you'll know when you're close to it. Which is great, especially because, like, collecting them all is required to get the good ending. Don't have that. I like more health drop, I made it. Earth time. Didn't even want to go this way yet. The map. Alright, going back. There we go. Yeah, I really do think the ability to move so quickly, as is common to this kind of game style, really helps alleviate a lot of what could be frustrating backtracking. Go. Like, it feels like it's on the cusp of being too fast. Just on the cusp. That was a trap. And the camel. Definitely one of the best things about playing a modern remaster of a game like this, because you're going to be going back and forth so much, is the way it's practically eliminated loading times. This generation of video games started off with a positive idea, in that it seemed like, okay, graphics probably aren't going to get that much better anytime soon, so we're going to focus on loading technology, and we're going to make everything load a lot faster. And I feel like that idea has kind of just died, and now we're just like, oh yeah, but what if AI could be used for everything? And it's like, great, that's not improved anything. Hey, what if AI could be used to make games look better? What if AI could be used to make you think your game looks better or runs smoother? Like, is it though? No. It's just making you think that it is, and using an absurd amount of resources to do so. Alright, it came from there. You used to actually try to advance technology, and it seems like all that's stopped now for AI. And I really hope the entire bubble just bursts soon. Improved loading times on games like this. Great. Love it. Fantastic. I remember when I first started dabbling in PC gaming on my old laptop. And I was playing stuff from like the PS3 generation on my laptop. And it was always super impressive to me how fast stuff would load compared to consoles like that. Oh, that's what that is. Boom. Wish I was further away from this. Don't have that. That a Jesus Anubis, man? You don't have? Nice. Well, that was probably a mistake. did I get? Earth and power. Could have made that a lot easier for myself. Yep. Time. Time. The Sobek mask allows breathing underwater. So now we can really explore underwater areas. We can't stay underwater permanently, but we can actually explore underwater now. I didn't show it off, but if we went underwater before getting that, that air meter drains down so quickly you will get nowhere with it.
You have succeeded in collecting yet another cherished artifact. Your heroic skills have kept you from joining the kingdom of the dead. Travel south now, through Karnak, and cross the Great Nile River. There you will find a strong weapon that will break through the stone of a weak wall. Beware though, for the path that leads beyond will take you to a place where a horrible beast dwells. You have succeeded.
I didn't realize I'd play again if I didn't move. Back to Karnak. Alright, so now we can go underwater. Thank you. Come on. Was it this way? I think it was this way. Ain't nothing under here. What symbol did we get? Time. Excellent. Let's go this way. Yay! Always an improvement. Okay, so now I'm looking for a presumably underwater exit. over here. Want that. Oh, okay. Can't get through there like that. Symbol of... Oh, I remember where the war was. It was near the other exit we took before. There we go. The worst thing about going underwater is the only weapon you can really use is the machete. You can also use the grenades when we get them, but like grenades are not the most reliable thing to use against enemies that are just directly attacking you, like these fish. More health. There we go, in the space of one level, I have now tripled my health capacity. I'm very happy about it. Went under. And as with so many first-person shooters, climbing out of water sometimes feels like kind of a gamble. Oh yeah, no, I opened up that shortcut, didn't I? Why am I even going back? Right, symbol of power. This way? Perfect. Like those guys. Alright. look like there's anything behind the waterfall. You'd have expected the enemies to be able to kill each other. Come on. They are mon mines. Better. Okay, where are we going? I knew that was going to try and take me back up again. Knew I saw one of you little fuck. Symbol of Earth. Right, there it is. Amun Bomb. Which I really did not want the game to switch me to immediately there. So what is the Amun Bomb? Grenade. Well, that'll kill me. Ooh. That sounded like I got more than I expected. Oh. Checkpoint. Alright, this place is visually confusing. I'll want to find a way in there. Transmitter piece nearby. A second map? Now, if we're gonna make a play for either one of those directions, I should go down with full air. Okay, not that way. Another transmitter piece. I hope it still works when it was underwater. Okay, that's open. Alright. I wonder what happens on the bottom of my software. Because I know they made this. I know they made Powerslave. I know they developed some Saturn ports of PC shooters. Like, I feel like they were behind Quake, and they were doing... I think they did develop... I believe I recall he adapted it to the Powerslave, to the Powerslave engine, the slave driver engine, so that they could get it to perform better on Saturn. And I don't know if they did anything ever after that. Like, I think they were doing a version of something from id for the Saturn, and they were going to use the slave driver engine for that. But it had texture warping on it. Like, the result was texture warping, and John Karnak just absolutely killed the idea. Which he said in, like, retrospect was absolutely a mistake. Like he said he shouldn't have done that, and he should have just let it happen. Because I forget what it was, like maybe it was Doom. It came out like way worse than it could have been. Because of that. Maybe it was Doom. I feel like it makes the most sense. And John Carmack was just really against texture warping. Which, on one hand, like, fair enough. Not pleasant. But on the other hand, given the hardware of the time, I feel like in a lot of cases it was just kind of an undeniable fact of existence. The video games for that time. I've been up there then, clearly. How did I get up there? Not that way. Like, it's one of those things that's like, you look back on it and it's an unfortunate reality of games of the period. But it's like what resulted in like having games that were of any playable quality to begin with. Sacrifices. You had to make sacrifices with a lot of stuff with the hardware that was available at the time. Kind of crazy to consider the difference between then and now in that regard. When now it's like, no, we're going to do what we want, and if your system can't run it because of whatever reason, it's your fault. It's not because we haven't bothered optimizing shit. Where am I going? I was supposed to do that. Really, I don't think I was supposed to. Yeah, maybe not. That took way longer to pull off than it should have. But yeah, creative limitations at the time. Unavoidable aspect to everything. It's like I was looking at Shin Megami Tensei last week. Because I'm thinking about starting a playthrough of it. And I'm looking through it and looking at that and Shin Megami Tensei 1. And it's like, because it's doing like primitive 3D on the Super Nintendo, the main game screen is like a very small window, like you would see in games like Ultima Underworld or some such new enemy. And again, just like at the time. should see less of these pockets. With ammo. Maybe I should stop shooting everything with the M60. Maybe. God damn. Homing on those is a little wild. A little crazy. Health upgrade right there, and I can't get it because I can't walk on lava. Oh shit. With more of you dropping ammo. Alright, that's up. Oh. Is this the only symbol I have right now? Where'd you go? Hey, not going that way right now. Like a bit less of those, I'd appreciate it. Well, that didn't go right. I wonder if it's up there. I'm not intending to go out of my way for any of the transfer pieces until Like, I have all the artifacts and I know I'll be able to grab them all. I feel like doing it before then is like a recipe for just wasting my time. If I find any before then, great. I'm not gonna go out of my way. I'm not gonna refuse to leave a level until I've found one until I realise that I can't get it yet. Where am I? Where did that one come from? If there is one thing I think this game could really be better with, I think it's enemy variety and just enemies generally. You spend so much of this game fighting bugs. And it's just not that interesting to fight bugs. Where the hell did you all come from? Hell. Yeah, why not? Don't have the similar time. This opens something though? Less of those. Is it less? and this is where I began. There's nothing out here. Nothing there. Only hitting that switch did something. Maybe jump over that, but I don't think I can. It did, it blew open this wall. I'm an idiot. Right. Progress. Where do these guys keep coming from? Don't like that. Ah, that's another transmitter piece. Can we lower that? Excellent. Right, well, I've lost enough health for that. We have 10 minutes until the next ad. I think we'll run this ad. And then we don't have to worry about it during this area. So we'll be right back. Yes. And we're back. You know this game has boss battles? Wow, this track sounds very GoldenEye. No, it doesn't. That opening sounded very GoldenEye. Appreciate that. Always appreciate a boss that's like, hey, we're gonna fight now, but I'm also gonna make sure you are ready for this. Because it would not do at all for me to kill you at anything less than your best. It was a tiny drop. Why did I take damage? Ground pound. It's a fascinating choice in a game like this. That might have been a mistake. I feel like I'm missing a lot. Gotcha. What a boss fight. What? Where did that guy come from? Let's set this up. Much better that time. Will you just go away? Jeez. The Shawl of Isis. To float down.
Your fearless displays as a warrior provide hope for this dying land. and your quest for peace will bring you just rewards. A deep cavity has been excavated in the south, where there's rumor of a fierce weapon that engulfs its victims in a breath of fire. Go there now and harness its power.
Alright. Said in the south, right? So now I can fall slowly. Which, there was a deep pit in this level that would have killed me if I jumped down it. Now we can land slowly. So we should never have to worry about fall damage again. We don't have to fall slowly, we can fall fast. I think the thing that might actually be the irritant about going back to levels to find new pathways might be how you have to do everything again. Like, you don't retain the keys or anything. It's not just that the enemies are alive again. The whole level has to be redone. Come on. Chop. There we go. Now some of the boxes will start exploding when we open them. Which is tons of fun. Tons of fun. Boom. Well, it worked. No, that didn't. Yeah, that one was stupid. There we go, this pit. Which I remember vividly because I spent like 15 minutes roaming this level. Alright, let's see what's down there. Who put a camel down here? The Cavern of Peril. That seems ominous. Alright, I guess we're going down. Hey, Teak. I'm doing alright. Playing Powerslave Exhumed, which is a fun Metroidvania that not a lot of people may be aware of, but I had on PlayStation growing up. Going quite well. Flamethrower. I feel like when Ramses talks about a weapon that engulfs its enemies in a breath of fire, you feel like it's going to be something magical, and then when you get it and it's a flamethrower, you're like, oh yeah, obviously. Would I recommend this? Yeah, I'd recommend it. Like most Night Dive remasters that aren't like Warner Brothers or Disney properties, I think it's reasonably priced. Good games, a good remaster. Plays super well. I normally have the frame rate set to 144 for this, which I don't even know if that makes a real difference in my gameplay experience. I'm not noticing it. But I set it to 60 for the stream because, like, it's really the point of having it any higher. Oh. How you doing, Teak? Friend of the stream, Teak the Gamer, hallowed be thy name. Oop. I feel like you wouldn't expect an M60 to be a burst gun. You doing well? Excellent. Are you familiar at all with this game? I feel like this is probably something Serial's played at some point. Stupidly to cover a fundraiser. What kind of fundraiser happens in the morning? Oh, shit. Cinnamon roll sale. People buy cinnamon rolls at, like, the afternoon. Your bedroom PC didn't adjust for daylight savings time? That's wild. When was the last time, like, any piece of hardware you had didn't adjust for daylight savings time? They get frosted and prepared them on. Fair enough. Autosync hasn't autosynced since August. That's weird because daylight savings time doesn't happen anywhere near August. That's a good flamethrower. Right, we're back on summertime now. You're getting up an hour earlier. Have you been making good use of that time? Yeah, like, it's summertime now. It's summertime. So, like, when I play something on PS3, it won't really be noticeable. But, like, the PS3 has an option. You don't have to change the time. There's just an option in the time settings to set it to daylight savings time. Just turn it on, and it moves the clock around. And I've just not been doing that because I don't care. So if you've been seeing the clock on my PS3 during any of the streams since October, I guess it would be, like the clock has been an hour wrong. And I've just not bothered to change it. And now we're back in summertime, so it doesn't even matter. Because, like, we're far past the point where I'm looking at my PS3 clock to know what time it is. Did you woke up at 5 instead of 6? But does that mean you've also been losing an hour of sleep, though? Been going to bed an hour earlier. So it's all evened out, you've just not been aware of the time. So, like, at least you've not been going to bed, like, an hour later than you should have been compared to how early you've been waking up. You've still been getting sleep, that's important. Get me some of that. The float power's a little awkward, because, like, you activate it by holding down jump, but you have to let go of jump, and then pull, like, hold jump again. It's a little awkward sometimes. Only 1:30. So, like, oh, I've got more time to mess around. There we go, that's what I wanted to do last time. I don't know, like, once I'm in bed, I'm like, okay, stop messing around, because you know you have a habit of messing around and getting carried away with stuff. Like, I've had the habit of, like, messing around with emulators or, like, setup of stuff. And then, because I want to make sure that's done before I stop. I don't want to stop it until it's done because I'll forget where I'm at or whatever. With whatever it is. I'll try and make sure it's done before I go away. So now it's like, okay, if it's like 10 PM, I won't start anything like that, because I know exactly how it'll go. Oh, it's already 2:30. Perfect. I didn't even kill the dude. Yeah, this game definitely has too many insect enemies. Oh, it already broke. Okay. Guess I won't break it then. So I had the whole plan of alternating between modern and classic shooters for daylight shooting time. And there's a key there. that might be an idea I put to bed, because I'm not entirely certain how I even want to classify modern versus classic, like the specific time frame cutoff. Like I said, like anything before 2015. 2015 is way too late. But then you've got that whole period where a lot of stuff was just modern military shooters, for the most part. I might just drop the entire idea. Yeah, I was thinking because, like, 2016 is, like, what I hold as the return, the point where shooters started to return to something they used to be. And, like, it's really Doom 2016 I hold as, like, the watermark of that period. But I was looking at stuff like, after doing Half-Life and playing I'm Your Beast. Yeah, it really is. Because, like, you could argue, oh, but what about Rise of the Triad 2013? And it's like, that really didn't kick off anything. It was just kind of there. And so I'm looking at, like, oh, would I do Bioshock? Would I do, like, Prey? The original Prey? So while the idea is nice, and it did push me momentarily into playing something a little more interesting with stuff like that, like going from GoldenEye into Turbo Overkill, which may have sat on the shelf for a while before I got around to it if I hadn't done it. I feel like doing Turbo Overkill has really opened me up to the value of doing modern indie shooters, but I'm gonna put the idea of modern classic. You see, I wouldn't even say pre-98, I'd say like pre-2005, and then 2005 to maybe 2016, and then post-2015. But I think I'm going to do away with the whole idea of alternating between the two anyway. And just try not to do too much that, like, overlaps itself. It's like I'm kind of in the mood to do Quake, but I feel like it wasn't that long ago we did Doom. And I don't want to, like, do multiple stuff from id. I'm very much like, we're doing this now, I should do Time Splitters. But Time Splitters is by Free Radical, and it's developed by former Rareware developers who were involved in GoldenEye. We only recently did GoldenEye, I don't want to jump straight into that. I'd like to do Perfect Dark, but we only recently did GoldenEye. So, like, try and split it up reasonably, I think. But do away with this whole classic modern idea. But yeah, I had been considering the value of a third era. There was thinking like, hey, like how Sonic Generations has classic, Dreamcast, modern, and I would just label them the same because it'd be funny to me. It's like, today we're going to be playing a classic shooter, Powerslave, and then next time we're playing a Dreamcast shooter, except it's like fucking black on PS2. But I would call it Dreamcast shooter and not explain it to anybody. The important thing is with stuff like that, as long as I find it funny, then it's successful, I think. Like, it's like 70% of why I do anything I do is for my own amusement. The other 30% is so people don't moan at me. Yeah, I think I will just put the idea to rest and just like vary up the styles and the companies. Like I was doing with the Superhero Sundays, like vary up the companies in particular. But more so the styles, because the styles matter more in the shooters. So who knows, maybe Bioshock will be after this, or maybe it will be the original Prey. Which I played for like an hour years ago on stream, back when I did. It was a super early stream. That was before any of you guys were here except Bane. I think Bane was the only person who was here at that point. I played the original Prey for like an hour. It was a bunch of fun. Well, that stream wasn't like a specific committed game. I was just playing stuff on Xbox. Like more ammo, please. Can I open that door? At the end of the day, I don't think most people really care what I'm playing. Like, I don't genuinely expect any of you guys to really care if I say, like, oh, I'm gonna play Doom, and then I'm gonna play Doom 2. I care, I want to mix it up. I don't want to get burnt out. Come on. There we go. Take a shot every time we play a first-person shooter where getting out of the water is a challenge in and of itself. Like, I do want to do stuff like Bioshock. Finally play through Bioshock, see if that's as good as everybody says. Because that's a game that I never really got to give a proper chance. By the time I got the ability to play it, the twist had been spoiled for me, and I was kind of just against the entire idea because of that. It was the same with Portal. Like, I finally played through Portal 1 fully. Last year, the year before, maybe? Let me see, it'll be on my Steam. August 10th, 2024. I sat down, I just played it all the way through on my Steam Deck. I enjoyed it. I played through it and I did actually really enjoy it. I remember trying to play it back in the day and like everything had been spoiled. You remember how it was, like back in 2007, 2015? Where you really couldn't breathe for Portal references and jokes and just everything Portal. And it was way overplayed by everybody except Valve. And so I played it on PS3. I think it was on the orange box on PS3. And I was like, eh. But like playing it myself 2 years ago, 2024, 2 years ago, I did really enjoy it. And I finished it, and I then just went through all of Portal 2. Which I had done before. I had actually played through Portal 2 before. And enjoyed that, but I hadn't played it since. And that was a lot of fun. I don't know whether I would do Portal and Portal 2 for daylight shooting time. Wouldn't be against playing them on stream. Possibly back to back, because like Portal is not the length of a full stream. And Portal 2, the real value there is like the story's great, and the single player is great, but the real value of Portal 2 is always the co-op. So I need somebody to play that with. And that requires a specific time slot where other people are available. So not daylight shooting time. There we go. I don't think I'm going anywhere there yet. But yeah, Bioshock's a game I do want to give another chance because of that whole idea. Like I say, I did really enjoy Portal, even like playing it years later. Did I get a key? Time. Did I see a time door? Where did I see it? There it is. There's always more, though. There's always more stuff to do. Actually, one thing I am genuinely really happy with is that I don't really have the same issue I used to with stream. Where I used to be like, what am I going to play? What do I feel like playing next? Cool. Is Pokemon Champions free to play? I assume it's on Switch 1 if you're playing it, because I don't think you've bought a Switch 2. Because why would you? But yeah, not really having that issue of like, what am I going to play next has been really nice. Maybe it's because of the way I've been limiting specific things in the stream. Like, rather than having everything open to me, I've been like, I'm going to play something of this or of this. And it's really worked out for me, I think. For the last few years, actually. Cool. Is it the standard Pokemon battle system? Where am I now? Yeah, I know Clem's been having the trouble with it. I'm not struggling for things to play, Teak. That's really the thing. I mean, it's not even like I would struggle for things to play anyway. I have so much to play. It's just about feeling like you want to play any of it. And so I feel like maybe the limitations of it, of what I've been allowing myself to play, has really helped, perhaps. Although last year, when we weren't limiting ourselves so much outside of Castlevania and Super Sunday, I think it went pretty well as well. But I did have the wheel of games I was using for that, which I thought worked pretty well. Because like, I know Clem's definitely been having issues picking stuff lately. He did another Parasite Eve run because it's just nice and simple for him. And he did Link to the Past randomizer because again it's just nice and simple for him. Doesn't need to really focus or commit out to it. And he's talking about doing another Final Fantasy VII run for the same reason. Like sometimes it does feel like there's just too much you've got. It's like maybe the limitation is the real trick to it. It's like we've got this here. Otherwise you'd be struggling to pick out a new Wednesday game. Well, isn't Wednesday, like, you call it Wednesday, so, like, isn't Wednesday the only day you have in the week where you just play whatever you feel like playing. Yeah. So, like, you've got the exact problem there that I'm talking about. Direction. Was it the other direction? I think it was the other direction. Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, like... There we go. I've got daylight shooting time happening now, and it's like, okay, I'm only playing shooters specifically. And I've got a bunch of stuff lined up that I'm excited to play all of it. And I'm not, like, paralyzed by choice with it. Maybe the limitation of the idea is, like, very specifically the real value of it all. Like, if you limit yourself, you have an easier time with a lot of it. And you feel a lot more willing to do a lot of it. I don't know. I think it's a consideration worth keeping in mind for myself. How do I get up here? There's like RPGs. RPGs seem like a bold one to like focus on for the year in the main streams. Games that you started and never finished, yeah. But it's like, RPGs are my preferred genre, and I've not done a whole lot of them recently. Like, we only did 3 last year, and we didn't finish one of them. 2 of them I hate. Well, we did 4 last year, and one of them was Chrono Trigger, so that doesn't really count, because Chrono Trigger is just fantastic. Really went down there. Getting lost. And then, like, I hated Rebirth, I hated Vesperia, and we didn't finish Final Fantasy X, and I've still not gone back and done the grinding that I need to do for it. Should. So going back to, like, primarily RPGs this year, I feel is a good idea for me. And I'm pretty excited about a bunch of the RPGs I've got on the list, and again, varying them up. Not just JRPGs all year. I think I know where that is. Fuck. Didn't realize I had so little health. Like, maybe theme years are just generally a good idea for me. But I'll admit, like, earlier on in this year, I was feeling terrible about not streaming all that much. because I'm not always available to be doing like evening streams because the way my schedule works. And so adding daylight, like daytime streams, I think has just generally been a really good idea for me. So I feel better about the stream. Doing more. And I am playing games that I wanted to play that, like, otherwise I wouldn't actually be playing on stream. Where is the... I remember there was a full health power-up and a full weapon as well. I don't remember where they were. Like I was really happy with like how many games we actually went through last year. That number obviously goes down when the main thing you're doing is arcade. Like, as long as I'm actually playing the games and enjoying them, that's the real value. And I am. I'm enjoying. Even though I didn't really enjoy playing Half-Life, like, I'm glad I've finally gone through it all for myself. I think the next big thing I'd want to do would be horror games. I feel like just generally overall, I play so few horror games as it is. Even Halloween doesn't feel all that dedicated to actual horror games. Not like it was intended to be. And then there's the trouble of finding games that actually scare me. That I also, like, actually want to play, because stuff like the modern horror games, like Outlast, like, yeah, I'd probably get a bit of a scare out of some of them, but I also don't think I would enjoy generally playing them. I feel like that'd be a big part of the problem. It's like Clem was talking about how he enjoyed Visage when he streamed it. And I didn't see that stream. For whatever reason, I was probably working. But... like, I don't think it'd be a game I'd enjoy, but based on Klim's recommendation, which has been good for me before. Like, he recommended Code Vein to me, and I really enjoyed Code Vein. And, like, while I'll give him shit over my opinion of Parasite Eve, I recognize the value of it, and I'm glad I played it. Because, like, I've got Visage on my wish list. It's like, would it be something I would actually enjoy playing? Question we have to answer. Plus, it doesn't help that a lot of the horror games I'm interested in generally are like PS2 era, which don't really focus on being like, oh my god, I'm so terrified kind of thing. Oh hey, a new enemy. In the same way that modern games do, but end up being like generally more interesting to experience because they don't. I don't know. I do want to go back and give Project Zero another shot, though. I always respect people who have the tenacity to stick with games that I just felt like no with. Because like when Ali finished, like Ali ran into dead ends with Project Zero like I knew I was going to. And she just restarted and went through it again until like she got it. Like, I respect that. Well, like with Alien Isolation, where I was like, this just isn't fun and it's going to keep going. And I was like, I'm not enjoying this. And then Amber sat down and pushed herself through it, and like, I respect that. I have also thought about a segment specifically devoted to finishing games that I didn't finish on stream. I mean, I suppose, like, the question there would be, like, defining force. Like, did I force myself to finish Half-Life? I kind of feel like I did. Like, it wasn't a huge amount of force, but, like, I wanted to stop playing it. Yeah. Like, do I respect you for beating the lost levels? Eh. Like you say, you knew exactly what you were getting into and you were committed to, like, just dealing with it. I respect your tenacity. I don't think it was entirely necessary for you to actually do the lost levels, though. But sticking to your guns is something I definitely respect about you. You see, I get that. Like, I really enjoy the Sands of Time trilogy just generally. And, like, I fucking get that. Sands of Time. excuse me, Sands of Time, by maybe halfway through, the combat has stopped being fun and has really started to drag. And I've only streamed it once. I get confused with the stream and the Let's Play because I streamed it and I Let's Played it. But like in both instances, it was like, okay, these combat sections need to just stop. They need to end. And it's a real shame because like the platforming is fantastic. I love the platforming in Sands of Time. It's kind of a thing that remains true of like all the games of that style, like with Nightshade. Oh, the PS2 Nightshade. I was thinking for a second, like, hey, I didn't realize you played Nightshade on NES. But I think that's also another thing, like, with the Lost Levels. You decided to play through the entire Shinobi series. I feel like, for the most part, you knew a lot of it was going to be frustrating. Yeah, I think at this point, any PS2 game, or not even PS2 game, any game where the biggest point of its reputation is that it's very difficult, is something I feel like I'm probably going to say fuck this to. Because of its reputation is that it's difficult above like anything else that could be interesting about it, I feel like there's going to be a problem. Which one did I get? But yeah, I think like with Prince of Persia, any game like that with like a really fun platforming system, I feel like the combat is usually the weakest part that you're just putting up with to get around to doing the platforming again. Like, I feel like the Tomb Raider Legends series, the Tomb Raider Legends trilogy, is absolutely that, where the combat is just there, and it's not great, but it's mostly inoffensive, I guess. But I'm there for the platforming. I will say though, like, if you decide to go back to Prince of Persia and do Warrior Within, I think you would probably enjoy Warrior Within more. Because, like, the combat is better, and it doesn't require you to always end each enemy with a specific attack. Enemies just have health bars. And the platforming is improved. I've said before, like, I think Warrior Within is probably the best Prince of Persia game, the best of the Sands of Time trilogy to play. Its presentation is the weakest. Never going to argue that. Like, it's a lot less. It's a lot less colourful than Sands of Time or Warrior Within. The music is, like, all, like, new metal and butt rock and everything. So if you're not into that, that's a problem. Protection from poison, swamp, and lava. Ooh.
The protected anklets you have found will provide safekeeping on your journey through the Hecate Marsh. A great palace that has been swallowed by the sea awaits you on the other side. Waste no time, for my soul is growing weaker as the Kilmaat continue to draw energy from my corpse.
Alright, while I remember, I want to go back to that one area that I know had a health upgrade. I believe it was Set Palace. Camel's there, I can come back and leave. Yeah, so like, I do absolutely think that Warrior Within has the weakest presentation. Even if you're into like the specific music style with it and the darker, edgier prints, I think overall it is like weaker in its presentation. I think his gameplay is absolutely the peak of the series. What, Pokemon? I mean, you could just do like generic Pokemon. Have your preferred team, like just around the scene collection. Use sprites from like Gen 1, Gen 2 or whatnot. Or I suppose like what I really mean is like use Gen 6 sprites, back when they were still sprites. And just like dot them about like they're around the scene. Is there a region? Like a region map? You can always like go in the other direction really hard. Just menu-based game. You could go really hard in the other direction and just have like that one image of Professor Oak in the lab from Pokemon Snap captured at like 240p and just blown out. So it looks absolutely fucking awful. You could do that. That could be fun. Yeah, I've been playing. I was playing through Warrior Within in my own time again because like it's just my preferred one to go through again. And I got to the Emperors of Time boss fight, which I'm just not enjoying. And I just need to get past that, and I'll be having fun with the game again. I don't think that's entirely Warrior Within's fault, though. I don't think any of the Sands of Time games had good boss fights. And let's go. So I think I'm going to call it here. I could go for a bit longer, but I think I'll call it here while this ad's about to play. We're in a good position, and I think we'll start off next time by visiting the Tomb of Ramses again. And getting the hint of where I need to go next again. This is fun. I feel justified in my decision to play this and like saying that it's fun. Always the worry in my head of like a game I've enjoyed previously, when I play it on stream I just won't enjoy it. Because it's happened enough times. But I suppose we'll be back later tonight with more Final Fantasy V as we're approaching endgame. I think we're just doing a bunch of optional cleanup now with Final Fantasy V. One thing I've kind of taken to doing at the end of streams now, it has been going quick. I commented on that last night with Clem, about how the 2D Final Fantasies feel like they go by so much quicker than the 3D ones. And I think it is a similar case of like Ocarina of Time versus A Link to the Past, where the third dimension in the movement just makes things go so much slower. Because like Final Fantasy VI is a lot faster than 7 as well. And I expect 4 when I eventually do 4, because I've not really said that I won't do 4. I feel like 4 will do it as well. And they don't have the issue that previous Final Fantasy games did. Like, I expect 4 will have this, 3 will definitely have it. Where the time is built up through grinding. So it has been going quick. I'm glad that it's not dragging more than anything else, but it does feel like it's coming to an end a lot quicker than I had expected. So I've kind of taken to using the end of stream times to go over all the stuff we're doing at the minute. So Powerslave will continue. Powerslave Exhumed. Final Fantasy V continues for the Year of RPG. History of Stylish Action begins finally this weekend with Devil May Cry 1. There's going to be a special surprise for you guys in that. I hope you're all looking forward to it. Because we did start Devil May Cry 1 years ago, back in 2021, and we were doing it, and my laptop just absolutely fucking died between sessions. I think I was doing Suikoden at the time as well, and I lost that. Like, I lost a lot of stuff because my laptop, like, completely fucked up. Would I have lost Suikoden? No, because I was doing. If I was doing Suikoden at that point, that would have been on an external emulation system. No, Suikoden was late. Suikoden was when my SSD and my PC fucked up. So yeah, like, we were doing Devil May Cry, and then I was unable to stream for a month, and then like real life stuff was happening, so I ended up only streaming once a week when we were doing Nocturne. So like, we're going to come back and we're going to finish Devil May Cry, and it will go through the Devil May Cry series along with Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising and a bunch of other stuff that I think will excite you guys. I think following Final Fantasy V, we are going to finally jump into Ys 1 and 2, which I'm very excited to do. We played Ys Origin a few years ago, and I feel like it was the deadest stream I had had in a long time, like the 4 sessions that I did that. So I felt like nobody really wanted to see it, so I gave up on it after finishing one character's playthrough. Now I'm just like, I'm going to play these games because I want to play them, and if people aren't here, then I'll enjoy them for myself. So we're going to play Ys, because I want to play Ys. And eventually I'll circle around and do Origin again. And do all 3 character paths. I don't have a specific plan for what's coming after Powerslave. Like I said earlier, we're probably gonna like drop this idea of modern and classic and just go through shooters without trying to hit recurring theme repeatedly, like in short spaces of time. So there's a bunch of possibilities that could follow this, like I'm interested in Bioshock, the original Prey, System Shock I've been kind of eyeing a little bit. Like, there's a bunch of stuff. Happening here is not a winner for you. Honestly, like, if our time zone difference wasn't such an issue and I wasn't working now, like, it was a lot easier back during COVID when it was lockdown, and it was like, cool, I can stream as many times a week as I want. I can be up as late as I want because I'm not in work in the next day, or the day after, or the day after. So I was in, like, most of your streams. And, like, if I could still do that, I would absolutely still be there. I enjoy being in your streams, too. And I would have loved to go through Half Minute Hero. I played that for, like, 20 minutes on the PSP years ago. And I would have loved to see more of it. But it's like I tell anybody who asks, which at this point has been a weird number of people who have asked me for advice on streaming during streams. Because it's like, I don't even know how many viewers I have right now because I have the view count turned off and I don't care. But it's like, you come into the stream which is probably pulling in less than 10 people ever. And you're like, oh, what's your advice on, like, starting streaming? It's like, weird that you would ask me that. But, like I say, as long as you're enjoying yourself, I think that's the important thing, and I hope you were enjoying Half Minute Hero, Zeke. I assume you were. As long as you had fun with it yourself, hopefully that is enough for you. It took a while to get back around to that being the case for me, as long as I'm enjoying things. And so that's why we've got stuff like this. Like, a lot of people can't come out during the day, and I understand because, like, of course they can't. But I'm playing what I want to play. Jade Empire. Like, it felt like a lot of Jade Empire was just me talking to myself. But it was okay, because I was enjoying it. That said, for fuck's sake, if you can, do not play Jade Empire on PC, play it on Xbox. I really should have just played it on Xbox. Yeah, it took a while for me to come back around to just enjoying stuff for myself. And I think I'm happier with the stream for that. They're short and you're sleeping. I understand. Like I say, it's really just a case of me wanting to do a little bit more when I can. A big part of the reason why for the longest time I've only really done evening streams is because a good number of the people who are my regulars, like 4 out of 6 of my mods, are Americans. Who are on, like, the completely separate time zones. And then I think most of my VIPs are Americans as well, so you're all on a different time zone. So the reason why a lot of my streams have remained in that specific time slot has been so you guys have the opportunity to be there. But no, nobody is ever obligated to be in a stream. If you can't get to these, I understand. If there's something you wanted to see and you can't... Sorry. Hopefully the VODs will be interesting. Right now it is 2:57 PM. I believe we worked out at one point that our time difference specifically is 6 hours. I do still have the time command, I think. There you go. Which rarely ever gets used, because why would it? I don't know why that says PM when it's using the 24-hour clock. Yeah, it's always a thing of, like, if people can be here and choose to be here, I really appreciate it. Can't. I understand that. But it is also really important for me to, like, make sure the streams are specifically stuff I want to do when I can do them. I have to be the focus of the stream. Because if I'm not, then like we did that. I wasn't as much of the focus of the stream in my mind for a while, and it definitely led to not just, I think, the stream suffering, but me suffering while doing the stream. It's important that it stays about me, what I enjoy and what I want to do. But yeah, that's going to do it for us today. I want to thank everyone who joined the stream. It was really appreciated the support. Big special thank you to everyone in the chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. Clim and Seek, thank you so much for joining me and keeping me company. We'll be back later tonight with more Final Fantasy V as we continue to collect the legendary weapons. We are going to go for all of them, I guess, and get all of that stuff. And have some fun. But in the meantime, there's not really anything else to say except thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and catch you next time, guys.